Good evening. Many thanks for joining us. Welcome to CoreTV News at 7 with me, Emmanuel Ezekiel. We start from Kebbi State, where the State House of Assembly Speaker Hassan Muhammad Shala has been impeached for alleged breach of trust and embezzlement of allowances of some members. At the Tuesday sitting, which held in the absence of the Speaker and his deputy, a member of the House representing Benin Kebbi North constituency, Abubakar Sabo, stood as the chair of the plenary. Another member representing Yauru State constituency, Aminu Gumbi, moved the motion for the impeachment of the Speaker, and it was seconded by Honorable Aliyu Mutubare from Kalgo constituency. Shortly after the Speaker was impeached, the House elected Habib Musa Jaiga as the new Speaker via a motion moved by Bala An Naba. Shala was, however, impeached by 12 out of the 24 members of the House of Assembly. Jaiga, a former Speaker, was also impeached by his colleagues in a controversial manner in December 2014. And staying with legislative matters, the Senate has passed the 2015 budget about a week after the House of Representatives approved the spending plan. The 4.493 trillion naira approved by the upper chamber was, however, about 50 billion naira higher than the original estimate presented to the National Assembly. There was also a marginal reduction in the recurrent expenditure and the senators, while the capital side of the budget was scaled down from, however, reduced the current expenditure from 42.8 billion naira to 556.9 billion naira. The senators, however, did not make provision for fuel subsidy, even though 21 billion naira was set aside for the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SHOPI. Chairman Joint Senate Committee on Appropriation and Finance, Mohammed Machido, explained that details of what the Senate passed were not different from that of the House of Representatives.
Subsidy has not been brought into this expenditure. We have not seen it, and we did not provide for it too. There should be a provision of that, even if it is not to the extent of that amount that we used to provide for. It could be overly. How would I put it? In itself, it could be the amount that we used to provide might be too much for that particular oil subsidy. But I believe, even if it is 20 billion naira, there is a need for us to look into that subsidy.
In the meantime, the House of, the All Progressives Congress said that all accredited media organizations in the country, including Africa Independent Television, AIT, are free to cover the activities of President-elect Muhammadu Buhari. The party insists that the incoming administration has no plans to discriminate against any media, regardless of the role they played in the build-up to the presidential election. APC spokesman Lai Mohammed, who said this in a statement issued in Abuja, however, wants the media to observe the highest level of professional standards in carrying out their duties. The party noted that there must be repercussions within the realms of the law for media organizations which have wantonly breached the code of ethics of the journalism profession and turned themselves to partisans instead of professionals. It, however, noted that it will not include barring any accredited media organizations from covering the activities of the president-elect. Now, with reactions still coming on the xenophobic attacks against Nigerians and other foreigners in South Africa, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advised the South African government on what he feels should be done to address the situation. In this report, Olajumoke Olatunji has more.
Since the alleged declaration by the influential king of South African Zulu nation, Gwetuzweluthu, about a month ago, where he reportedly said headlines should be squashed and foreigners should pack their belongings and leave the country. Violent attacks has been on against foreigners, with many blaming the speech for igniting the violence. Reactions have continued to trail this development, with many putting the damage done to Nigerians at over 48 million naira. In his reaction to the attacks, Nigeria's former president Olusegun Obasanjo says it is an unfortunate situation. Obasanjo was speaking to a group at the Texas Southern University, United States of America, says it is a major blow for African brotherhood.
But now that the issue has arisen, our President Zuma. First, I will condemn the action in very, very stern language. Second, those who have made comment that seem to be glorifying that very bad act, no matter how close they have been to me, I will publicly castigate them.
He also added that the South African government could have handled the situation better.
I will make example of a few of those who did. And I mean that. I will make a sample of a few. Look, it doesn't matter what we may say. South Africa is one of the most developed countries in Africa.
Xenophobic attacks have been on the rise in South Africa after democratization in 1994, and the attack seems to grow in intensity each time. Olajumoke Olatije, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Staying with xenophobic attacks, national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, wants the federal government to designate a special envoy to liaise directly with President Zuma and appropriate cabinet-level officials in South Africa. This, he says, is more constructive than recalling its envoys from the former apartheid enclave, even over recent xenophobic attacks. The presidency has already denied withdrawing the High Commissioner to South Africa. But the former Lagos State Governor is suggesting that a well-known statesman, preferably one with a good relationship with President Zuma, like former Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Anyaoku, would be ideal for the position. He also wants an interagency coordinating emergency team put in place to complement the efforts of the envoy, as well as restitution for Nigerians who may have lost property during the attacks. To maintain that recalling Nigeria's envoy should be the last option if the South Africans rebuff the country's overtures. Now, Nigeria has denied recalling its envoys in South Africa over the xenophobic attacks in that country. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Reuben Abati, disclosed this on Monday at a news conference in Abuja. He maintained that the country only someone is charged after for routine briefing.
Nigeria has not recalled its envoys in South Africa. What has been done is to invite the charge d'affaires. What we have there, in fact, we don't have, a high commissioner on the ground. What we have, an ambassador on the ground. What we have is a charge d'affaires and a consul general, and then the rest of the team. The charge d'affaires has been invited just for routine consultations by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The recall of an ambassador is a very serious and sensitive matter, and that has not happened. So I think I should clear the air that, there is a mix-up somewhere, there is some misinformation somewhere. Nigeria has not recalled its envoys to South Africa.
President Goodluck Jonathan has ordered the release of the full report of the forensic audit of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC. This comes within hours of a pledge by President-elect Muhammadu Buhari that he will take a closer look at allegations of missing $20 billion from the NNPC account. Presidential spokesman Reuben Abati will disclose it in Abuja and insists that the Jonathan administration has nothing to hide on the matter. Now, reactions have continued to follow the pronouncement by President-elect Muhammadu Buhari to probe the alleged missing $20 billion oil money from the Federation account. The move has been described as a welcome development which most Nigerians have been looking forward to. Oluwaseyi Adegoke meets with a policy analyst and an activist on the issue. Her report.
The missing oil money came to light by the former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Lamido Sanusi. The former CBN boss, now Emir of Kano, had claimed that the money was not remitted to the Federation account by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Since April 2014, the development has been generating reactions from different quarters. According to the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari, the allegation should be probed instead of firing Lamido Sanusi, who is now the Emir of Kano.
A lot of issues have gone wrong with the industry. With this incoming administration, let some of these issues be opened and let Nigerians begin to know exactly what is happening in the oil industry. Your money is my money, is Nigerians' money.
It's part of the building the accountability process in the country. It's important. We need it.
Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan gave a directive for immediate publication of the findings by the Pricewaterhouse forensic audit. The question on the lips of many Nigerians is why wait until now before giving the directive?
Some of the political capital the president lost is due to some of these inactions. President Jonathan came into government with a lot of political capital. People expected so much from him, but unfortunately he depleted it and he destroyed his political capital. And part of it is this inaction.
Well, the important thing is that he has come out with the food details. Now you can study it. Everybody in Nigeria can study it. Those who are coming can study it, and then you can either accept it or forge it. It's important. The only important thing that it has come out.
The issue has been in the public domain for a long time, and Nigerians hope the new administration will lay the matter to rest once and for all. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Tuned in, you're watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, our next report will be on the deals and, of course, the claim by some people that the president is trying to carry out some activities in going away from office. Stay with us.
It is often said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But what about the things in life that actually inspire us to believe? Like the things that drive us, the things that move us, and even the things that remind us that the sky really isn't our limit. Because when we are inspired, we are led to future greatness. But first, we just have to believe.
One day I want to build Nigeria's first aeroplane.
I know. One day you'll make us proud.
Rich and creamy pig, extra fortified with 28 vitamins and minerals. Here's to 60 years of nourishing dreams and inspiring the future. The future is bright. Reach for your peak.
Welcome back. Still watching CoreTV News at 7, where you can reach us on our following social media platform: Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News, or our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You can also check our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, and then news. Now, the presidency has dismissed claims of last-minute dubious activities and appointments. It, however, says President Goodluck Jonathan would not stop working until the May 29th handover date. The All Progressives Congress had alleged that the outgoing administration was making what it describes as questionable transactions at the tail end of its tenure. But presidential spokesman Ruben Abati says there is no truth in the claims.
The suggestion by Alhaji Mohammed that the Jonathan administration is trying to tie the hands of the incoming government merely by continuing to discharge its constitutional responsibilities until the end of its tenure. The Jonathan administration, which continues to do its best to ensure a smooth and peaceful handover of power to the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, deeply regrets the unfairness and combative frame of mind reflected in Alhaji Mohammed's statement. President Jonathan has done his best in the last 5 years to discharge his constitutional responsibilities for good governance and effective leadership of the nation, without any prejudice whatsoever to the freedom of the incoming administration to do as it pleases within the confines of extant laws when it assumes office. The Jonathan administration will continue to discharge its responsibility to govern until May 29, 2015.
Now, a federal high court in Abuja has fixed May 26 to deliver ruling on what it has jurisdiction to entertain a suit challenging the governorship primary of the All Progressives Congress in Sokoto State. The primary election conducted on December 14, 2014, produced the governor-elect Aminu Tambuwal in the state, but his main rival, Senator Umaru Dahiru, insists that the process was neither free nor fair. Senator Umaru Dahiru is challenging the election on the ground that it was marred by electoral irregularities. But Tambuwal's counsel, Jibrin Okupeta, argues that his suit had been overturned or overtaken by events, since his client had not only participated in the election, but it is also the Sokoto State, he is also the
President is very lively.
The
question is whether the suit instituted by a distinguished senator to challenge the emergence of the governor-elect of Sokoto State from primaries conducted by the APC, whether that suit is dead or alive. Our position is that the suit is alive. Our opponents submit that the suit is dead, and it's for the court to take a stand on it, and then we know what will happen thereafter.
They are asking that the primaries election conducted in Sokoto State on the 4th of December 2014 be nullified, another primary conducted, so for the purpose of the election that has taken place. So the release being sought has become constitutionally ungrantable. And so we think, or we are thinking, that the case is now of academic value. That's why we came to court and made the application, which we have argued, and which has been fixed for 26th of May for ruling.
Here in Lagos, the state government insists that the traffic law prohibiting commercial motorcyclists from plying restricted routes is still in force. The State Commissioner for Transportation, Kaide Okwefa, stated this while briefing the media on the activities of the ministry in the last 365 days. Abiola Oluwole has more in this report as presented from our studios.
The enactment of the Lagos State Traffic Law in August 2012 by Governor Babatunde Fashola to a large extent changed the face of transportation in the state. The law prohibited commercial motorcyclists, popularly known as Okada, from plying 400 out of 9,000 available roads in the state. But the sudden resurgence of the Okada riders in the wake of the general elections on roads where the traffic law prohibits them from plying is a major concern to both government and the citizens.
If a motorcycle operator is on a road and the road is not restricted and is not using helmet or is carrying more than 2 people, the police can, and the law allows the police to enforce.
Speaking at the 2015 ministerial press briefing, the Lagos Commissioner for Transportation, Kaide Okwefa, insists that the law enforcement agents are still empowered to arrest any Okada riders contravening the traffic law, either by plying prohibited routes, having more than a passenger at a time, or riding without crash helmets.
And even when he has complied with all the laws, the police has what they call reasonable suspicion, because there is also security aspect of Okada restriction. And you heard the one of the governor, where he found an Okada person and they found gun inside the bag. So we need to support the police to enforce this law.
Okwefa also disclosed that over 16,000 vehicles were impounded in 2014 by men of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority for different offences.
Now, residents of the Mongo bus stop at Yide area of Adigbe in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, are pleading with the state government and its relevant agencies to come to a rescue over the sudden decomposed remains of a resident of the area, which they say is an environmental hazard. Our correspondent, Olajumoke Olatunji, has more in this report.
The decomposed remains of Samuel Kennedy, popularly known as Mr. Mango, whose relatives have not been found, has been a source of concern to all the residents of the community. Chairman of Adigbe community, Raman Kayode, says after the demise of the man, all efforts to locate relatives have proved abortive. He ordered that the man had lived in the area for over 4 decades and has never been seen with anyone.
Even by the time the man was alive, nobody feels entered this place. Nobody fit. What is your mission? What do you mean? What do you want? What's you allow anybody to enter this compound? You want the security to be very tight, then you want this place to be confined to, let's say, hall, or maternity. Hall here, maternity there.
Confirming the incidents, the public relations officer of the Ogun State Police Command, Muyiwa Dejobi, says the command is doing all it can to locate the dead man's relatives, indicating that without them, nothing more can be done.
Esprit de corps is a concept that means togetherness, brotherhood. It is not part of our culture to always be indoor and do your whole, like Yoruba will say, koko jabili, kalukulun chete. It is not proper. Like this now, it's giving us a lot of problems to even locate relations.
Meanwhile, the remains of the man has been evacuated to the public cemetery in Abeokuta, but the stench oozing out of the late man's residence still remains a source of concern to the residents. Olajumoke Olatoje, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
This is CoreTV News at 7. We'll go for another quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll bring you news outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
It is often said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But what about the things in life that actually inspire us to believe? Like the things that drive us, the things that move us, and even the things that remind us that the sky really isn't our limit. Because when we are inspired, we are led to future greatness. But first, we just have to believe.
One day I want to build Nigeria's first aeroplane.
I know. One day you'll make us proud.
Rich and creamy pig, extra fortified with 28 vitamins and minerals. Here's to 60 years of nourishing dreams and inspiring the future. The future is bright. Reach for your peak.
Welcome back. Now, next story takes us straight to Plateau State before news outside Nigeria, where it's reported that 4 people have been killed over the weekend in an attack by gunmen in Shanong Village, Bachit district of Friyom local government area of the state. The gunmen who attacked the village on Saturday afternoon allegedly killed 2 security operatives and 2 other villagers. An eyewitness from the village stated that the villagers ran in different directions when the attackers came into the village. He said the security operatives responded to calls from the village and rushed to contain the situation, but were overpowered as 2 of them were killed by the gunmen who also carted away their service rifles. The witness added that the joint security operatives earlier positioned in the village left the area due to incessant attacks. The spokesman of the Special Task Force Maintaining Peace in Plateau, Ikedichi Weha, while confirming the incident, said the attack was a dispute between the state-owned Operation Rainbow and Fulani herdsmen. Now to news outside Nigeria, where it's reported that the U.S. has announced fresh aid of $9 million for quake-hit Nepal as it launched relief and rescue mission in the Himalaya nation, sending a disaster response team along with rescue dogs to search for survivors. This is in addition to $1 million already provided to the quake victims in Nepal on Saturday. The funding will be used to address immediate life-saving priorities, including search and rescue efforts, the provision of emergency shelter, clean water, sanitation, and additional needs that emerge in the coming days, U.S. aid says. The U.S. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter also says 2 C-17s of the U.S. Air Force were dispatched to Nepal with U.S. aid support, search and rescue personnel, and supplies on board. Some U.S. military personnel are already in Nepal for a previously scheduled training exercise, and these individuals are using their equipment and their tremendous expertise to assist in the recovery effort. The U.S. is spending a nearly 130-person disaster assistance response team to conduct assessments, coordinate the humanitarian response, and provide search and rescue capabilities, along with 45 tons of cargo. And that's our package, but do not go away. In the next half hour, very quickly, we're bringing you the reporter, the edition for this evening. My name is Emmanuel Ezekiel, and join me shortly.